Warframe. The heck is that? Well, for all of you who don't know it, it's a looter-shooter game where you, a space ninja, decimate thousands of enemy forces in different modes and objectives to get awesome loot. Mostly loot to construct things in the foundry, like guns and warframes and mods that make you even stronger and more busted if your warframe isn't already.
All set. Service your weapons myself.
But aside from blowing up everything, there is also Fashionframe. That's what a lot of veteran players say is one of the endgame contents of Warframe. Players don't just pour hours into Warframe looting, shooting, and constructing parts, they also spend lots of time designing and customizing their frames, like me, especially those who've been in this game for years. And that makes me curious. Why specifically Fashionframe? And is it just for cosmetic purposes like with any other game out there? I wanted to see if the fashion gimmick of this game has meaning. And from what I uncovered, I argue that it does. In this video, I offer old and new players alike a new perspective as to why the players should fashion their Warframe and how it's one of the most fitting endgame contents of Warframe. So, maybe what the veterans say is true. Fashionframe is endgame. Warframe's lore and gameplay is crucial to my argument. In short, the Orokin, a once mighty and powerful empire who ruled an entire solar system, which you see right here, were being slaughtered by their own creations, called the Sentients. As the Orokin Empire lost power, the people they controlled and colonized, who were not happy by the way with how the Orokin ruled the solar system, began to fight back along the Sentients as well. But a high-ranking Orokin elite named Ballas quickly searched for a way to combat their impending extinction. Using a virus infestation found from an unknown planet, some exotic metal, and definitely willing participants, Ballas gave birth to the Warframes. They were successful for a while, for one Warframe could slaughter thousands of soldiers. But eventually, they would go berserk in the battlefield and turn on their comrades. Fortunately, I guess, Ballas found a way to control these warframes by establishing child labor. Children with unique powers were recruited by Ballas to tame the warframes, as these special group of children have the ability to transfer their conscience into these warframe death machines. And so he used the crap out of these kids and manipulated them to fight the war for him and the remaining elite Orokins. However, Ballas's masterful use of child labor backfired on him again, and the Orokin were completely decimated. This left the entire solar system at war amongst themselves, divided between factions trying to gain control of their own pocket of land, finally being free from the Orokin's grasp. With the Orokin gone, of course, the few surviving Tenno, who these special children were called, or you, specifically as a player, begins a new journey to restore balance to the solar system. So, with a story that deep, and a gameplay centered around disciplining various factions in the game, what's the connection with fashion? Well, from what I can see, to regain control of our own destiny and to signify both the Tennos and the Warframes' freedom. The Warframes weren't made for the children as toys. They were made to conquer. Fashion and connection to this type of gameplay, to me at least, doesn't really make sense. But when you see Fashionframe in this perspective, it isn't so out of place anymore. I mean, it's not uncommon for games to have fashion purely for cosmetic purposes. I believe is closely tied to the story and why so many veterans say Fashionframe is endgame. From being enslaved and manipulated by the Orokin to slaughtered lives as a child, by the way, to becoming the hero the solar system needs. The ability to customize and fashion your Warframe is the greatest symbolism of your freedom.